Human trafficking crimes painfully remind us that modern-day slavery occurs in communities all across our nation. We're here today to announce the dismantling of an alleged multi-state sex trafficking and prostitution ring that stretched from Georgia to Florida to both North and South Carolina. This indictment charged 12 individuals with their roles in a sex trafficking and prostitution ring. It is the result of a lengthy investigation called Operation Dark Night, which was led by special agents with ICE and federal prosecutors in our office. Yesterday, we were able to arrest 10 of the 12 defendants and charged in the indictment. Additionally, over 40 others were arrested in Georgia, Florida, and in both Carolinas. Perhaps the most important information that I can share with you today is that I'm pleased to announce that federal agents with ICE Homeland Security investigations were able to also rescue 11 victims. Now, these 11 women were allegedly prostituted for profit by members of the conspiracy. The details in this indictment are shocking. Members of the conspiracy are accused of intimidating and coercing dozens of women from Mexico, Nicaragua, and other places into acts of prostitution here in Savannah and in the other communities and states that I've identified. As alleged in the indictment, some of these women would be forced to perform up to 30 acts of prostitution a day. I'm outraged that trafficking in other human beings is allowed and it's ongoing in our country today. It's hard to believe that this type of behavior is happening in 2013 in the United States of America. We are working hard to put those who engage in sex trafficking behind bars, but we also need the help from the community. Please report suspicious activity in your community. It would only take a moment for you to report a suspicious line of men standing outside a trailer. One important part of this operation that is well worth highlighting, in addition to the members of the sex trafficking conspiracy, ICE special agents have also arrested several of the alleged customers, those folks we call the Johns. Whether or not these Johns were aware of the abuse suffered by the women they ordered up, these men allegedly created the market demand that led to these victims being trafficked. In taking a stand against sex trafficking, we must recognize and address each participant: the customer who creates the demand, the criminal who seeks to fill the demand, and the victim trapped in the middle. With Operation Dark Night, we are ensuring that customers and criminals are held accountable while the victims receive the help they need. Slavery in all forms is immoral. It is unacceptable in any civilized nation. Let this indictment and this operation serve as notice to all those who would engage in human trafficking that we are united to end this practice in the United States of America. Standing behind me, these members of law enforcement, we are all united for one purpose. We are committed to coming after those who traffic in sex and prostitution in this country. Thank you. Now it's my pleasure to introduce to you ICE Director John Morton.
Well, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I am John Morton, the Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, otherwise known as ICE. ICE is the principal investigative agency within the Department of Homeland Security, responsible for a wide range of transnational crimes. Our investigative directorate, known as Homeland Security Investigations, or HSI, operates in all 50 United States and 49 countries overseas. In the spring of last year, ICE began an investigation into organized prostitution in the Savannah region. We named the investigation Operation Dark Night, and dark it turned out to be. The results of our investigation have been impressive but gruesome, reaching far beyond simple prostitution in Georgia and revealing an underworld of sexual exploitation throughout the southeast United States. Sadly, what we have ultimately uncovered is a major sex trafficking and prostitution ring operating in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. A ring that recruited young women from Mexico and Central America with false promises of hope and a new life in America, only to force them into hard in unrelenting prostitution. We have arrested 13 adults involved in the trafficking and prostitution of these women. The 10 individuals the United States Attorney mentioned in the indictment, and an additional 3 people by complaint, also through the United States Attorney's Office. At the same time, we've rescued 11 women, and we're in the process of interviewing them all and working with non-governmental organizations and others to see that they are taken care of and put on a path to a better and more stable life. Most of these women were from Mexico and Central America, almost all of them in their 20s. 80 of the individuals we arrested were apprehended in Georgia, 3 in Florida, 1 in North Carolina, and 1 in South Carolina. 9 of those arrested were men, 4 were women. 9 were from Mexico, 1 from Nicaragua, 1 from Guatemala, and 2 were United States citizens. All the Mexicans and Central Americans we arrested were also in the country unlawfully. We have further arrested on administrative charges 44 foreign-born men who were encountered at brothels and other places we searched. We will process them all for removal and present any who warrant criminal charges to the United States Attorney for consideration for prosecution. This case is ultimately a tale of the perverse, callous exploitation of young women for profit. There was no humanity in this, no fairy tale ending, just hard, abusive, organized crime. We allege that the women were traded between pimps like property. They were moved from city to city on a circuit and made to have sex with up to 30 men a day. There was absolutely no care for who these women were, what they wanted to be, and where they should go in life. They were reduced to sexual commodities and offered for sale at $30 a session. The grim reality is that human trafficking and sexual exploitation are a very real part of the modern world. Trafficking is an international phenomenon, the domain of organized criminals, and a business that feeds on abuse, control, and exploitation of real people, typically children and young adults. To defeat human trafficking, we must attack it relentlessly. There is no other way, there is no other answer. It is simply one of the great wrongs of our time. And attack it we will. Last year alone, ICE arrested 967 people who were linked to human trafficking and child sex tourism. A record. And as you can see, we're bringing a similar intensity to this problem this year. We had 3 goals in this investigation. First and foremost, to rescue the young women being trafficked. Second, to bring the long, hard arm of the law down on their traffickers and associates. And third, to hold accountable the customers who are willing to participate in such exploitation. To anyone, woman or man, coerced into prostitution or forced labor, know that there is a way out. Call ICE, call the local police, or have someone you trust help you approach authorities. We will help you, we will protect you and your families. The law explicitly allows us to welcome you to this country to help you start a new life, a life free from abuse. To those engaged in this shameful business, find other work or risk spending large chunks of the rest of your days on this earth in prison. The penalties for trafficking and coercive prostitution are severe, up to life in prison. Moreover, we will pursue any sex trafficking lead we get, whether it takes us to Savannah or Singapore. There isn't a place on the planet in which you are truly safe. It may take us a lot of time, it may take us a lot of effort, but we will investigate you, we will prosecute you, we'll put you in jail, period. To those who might want to believe that sex trafficking doesn't happen in America, reflect on this case and think again. The victims we rescued thought they were coming to the United States to pursue a better life. Instead, they were allegedly forced into hard prostitution, day after day, man after man. If you suspect any person is being coerced into prostitution, whether a citizen or an immigrant, a child, an adult, a man or a woman, call us. Help us root out this scourge. Remember, the victims in trafficking cases are abused, heavily controlled, and afraid. In short, they can't stand up for themselves. Help us stand up for them. My deep, deep appreciation to the United States Attorney, These cases take a lot of time and resources to pursue, and we couldn't do them without a full prosecution partner every step of the way. I'm particularly pleased to say that we've had every support we've needed from day one in this case. We've investigated this case, for example, since the spring of 2012, and we carried out arrests and searches in 4 different states. U.S. Attorney Tarver and his team have just been fantastic. Many thanks as well to the partners who worked with us to make this investigation a success. They're all behind me, and I want to single them out because this really is a team effort. This isn't simply ICE doing this by itself. Not only did we have our investigators in Homeland Security Investigations lead the charge, we had our officers from Enforcement and Removal Operations at ICE help. Savannah Chatham Metropolitan Police Department provided substantial support. I'm deeply appreciative to the chief. We had port officers and pilots from our sister agency, Customs and Border Protection, critical support. Coast Guard Investigative Service, the Chatham County Sheriff's Office, Chatham Narcotics Team, the Garden City Police Department, the FBI, the ATF, IRS, United States Marshal Service, our own folks at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, and Tapestry, an Atlanta-based NGO focused on assisting victims, and we also had some other NGOs help. And that's part of the story here. This is not just about law enforcement, it's about the whole community coming together. The women that were involved in these alleged crimes are going to need a lot of help in the months and years to come, and government's got to play a big role, but so does the community. Finally, the U.S. Attorney and I get up and intend to announce these charges before you all, but the real credit goes to the men and women who spent many hours, many days, many months doing this case. I used to be an assistant United States attorney myself many, many years ago, so I'm deeply appreciative of the work that went into it. So I want to particularly thank our resident agent in charge, Jason Medica with HSI here in Savannah, the 2 lead special agents, Jason Wilkes and Joel Roundtree, again, both from HSI Savannah, and Assistant United States Attorneys Greg Galuli and Tanya Groover, who are both up here behind me. They're the ones that really made this case happen. So I'm deeply appreciative of all that you did as well. It's a great case. We need to do these cases as much as we can. Got to get out there and just fight, fight, fight. It's sad that this kind of behavior is going on in Georgia and the Southeast and in the United States generally. But the good news is this country is all about law and order, and where we can go out and investigate people and bring people before a court of law for face their day. And we're going to do it. And we're going to do it with good due process for all, and it's the right answer. So I'm deeply appreciative to the team. Thank you very much.